If you enjoy stories about unfaithful husbands, this channel is for you. Leave a like and support us by subscribing to the channel. I should have known something was wrong the moment I saw him walk through those auditorium doors. It was Madison's spring dance recital, the one she'd been practicing for every single day after school for 3 months, the one where she'd finally get to perform her solo, the one Derek had promised, sworn, he wouldn't miss. I was sitting in the 3rd row, center section, saving the seat beside me. My phone showed 6:47 p.m. The recital started at 7. Derek texted 20 minutes ago. Running late. Traffic. Save me a seat. Traffic. Always traffic. I watched the doors, checking my phone every 30 seconds. Parents filed in with bouquets and cameras. The lights dimmed halfway. The 5-minute warning. Then I saw him. Derek rushed through the entrance and relief flooded through me for exactly 2 seconds. Then I noticed he wasn't alone. A woman walked beside him. Younger than me. Maybe late 20s, early 30s. Long dark hair, fitted dress, confident stride. She wasn't just near him. She was with him, laughing at something he said, touching his arm. My stomach dropped. Derek's eyes scanned the crowd. When he spotted me, his expression shifted, just for a flash, before settling into his usual smile. He waved, started walking toward me. The woman followed. "Amber, sorry," he said, squeezing past knees to reach our row. Parking was a nightmare. The woman slid into the seat directly behind us. I turned slightly, catching her profile. She was scrolling through her phone, completely comfortable, like she belonged here. "Who's that?" I whispered to Derek as the lights dimmed completely. "Who?" "The woman. The one you walked in with." He glanced back, casual, unbothered. "Oh, I think her daughter's in Madison's class. We were both running late. Came in at the same time. Just." That word hung in the darkness between us. The music started. Little girls in pink tutus flooded the stage. I should have been watching Madison, searching for her anxious face in the lineup. Instead, I was aware of every movement Derek made beside me, the way he leaned back slightly, the way he glanced over his shoulder once during the opening number, the way the woman smiled when he did. And that's when I knew. I didn't have proof yet, couldn't explain the ice forming in my chest, but some part of me, deep, primal, knowing, understood. My husband was cheating on me, and his mistress was sitting 3 feet behind us, watching our daughter dance. The signs had been there for months. I just didn't want to see them. It started small, Derek working late more often. "Big project," he'd say, kissing my forehead on his way out the door at 7 p.m. "Don't wait up." I never questioned it. Why would I? We'd been married for 9 years. He was a good husband, a good father. We had our routines, our comfortable life in our 3-bedroom house in the suburbs. We weren't passionate anymore, but we were stable, safe, or so I thought. Then came the gym membership. Derek had never been particularly athletic, but suddenly, at 37, he decided he needed to get in shape. 4 times a week, sometimes 5. He'd leave at 6 in the morning, come back showered and energized. "You look great," I told him one morning, meaning it. He'd lost weight, bought new clothes. I thought it was a midlife thing, a healthy phase. Now I wondered who he was trying to look good for. The phone was the biggest tell. Derek had always been casual about it, left it on the counter while he showered, face up on the coffee table during movies. But around January, maybe February, that changed. It was always in his pocket now, face down when he set it anywhere. He'd get texts and glance at the screen, then smile to himself, this private little smile that didn't include me. When I'd ask who it was, he'd say work or just Mike and change the subject. Last month, I'd picked up his phone by accident. They looked identical, same black case. It was locked. It had never been locked before. "Since when do you have a passcode?" I'd asked. "Oh, IT made us set them up," he said smoothly. "Security policy. You know how it is." I didn't know, but I accepted it. The sex had dropped off too. We'd gone from once or twice a week to nothing. 6 weeks now, maybe 7. Every time I initiated, Derek had an excuse. Too tired, too stressed, headache, stomachache. Meanwhile, he looked better than he had in years. I told myself I was being paranoid, that marriage was like this sometimes, that we were just in a rut. But sitting in that darkened auditorium, watching my daughter twirl across the stage while my husband's mistress sat behind us, I realized something crushing. I'd known for months. I just hadn't been brave enough to face it. The recital ended with thunderous applause. Madison took her bow, beaming under the stage lights, and I forced myself to clap, to smile, to be present for her moment. Derek stood, whistling through his fingers. "That's my girl," he shouted. I turned to gather my purse, and that's when I saw her clearly for the first time. The woman from behind us was standing too, clapping enthusiastically. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7, Madison's age, rushed over to her from backstage, still in her costume. "Mommy, did you see me? Did you see my pirouette? You were perfect, sweetie. Absolutely perfect." My breath caught. She had a daughter in Madison's class. That's why she was here. That's why Derek could explain away walking in with her. It wasn't random. It wasn't suspicious. Their daughters were in dance class together. How convenient. How perfectly, brilliantly convenient. Derek was already moving toward the aisle. "I'm going to grab Madison. Meet you by the doors?" I nodded, numb. The woman, his mistress, I was certain now, gathered her daughter's bag and jacket. I watched her from the corner of my eye. She was beautiful in that effortless way some women are. Natural makeup, designer jeans. The kind of woman who probably did yoga and posted motivational quotes on Instagram. She glanced in Derek's direction as he disappeared toward the backstage area. Just a quick look. Nothing obvious. But I saw it. The familiarity. The connection. My hands were shaking. "Mrs. Hayes?" A voice beside me. Another dance mom. Jennifer something. "Madison was wonderful tonight. Thank you," I managed. "She worked so hard. They all did. Claire was so nervous, but I think it went, oh, there's Vanessa. Vanessa." The woman turned, smiled, walked over. "Jennifer? Hi? Wasn't it amazing?" Vanessa. Her name was Vanessa. "Vanessa, this is Amber Hayes, Madison's mom," Jennifer said. "I don't think you two have officially met. Your daughters are in the same group, right?" Vanessa extended her hand, warm and friendly. "It's so nice to finally meet you. Sophie talks about Madison all the time." I shook her hand. It was soft, delicate. I wondered if Derek held it, if he kissed it. "Nice to meet you too," I said. My voice sounded normal, steady. Inside, I was screaming, because now I knew 3 things. Her name, her daughter's name, and exactly how Derek had been hiding this affair, right in front of me, at dance class, every single week. I waited until Derek was asleep. It was past midnight. Madison had been tucked in hours ago, still buzzing with excitement about her performance. Derek had watched TV, scrolled through his phone, that damn phone, and gone to bed around 11. I'd pretended to read beside him until his breathing deepened and evened out. Then I waited another 20 minutes to be sure. The phone sat on his nightstand, screen down. Always screen down now. My heart hammered as I reached for it. Slowly, carefully. The bedroom was dark except for the streetlight filtering through the curtains. I held my breath and lifted it. Face ID wouldn't work while he was sleeping. I'd need the passcode. But Derek was a creature of habit. Always had been. Our anniversary was September 14th. I tried 0914, locked. Madison's birthday, 0328, locked. My hands were sweating. One more failed attempt, and it might lock permanently, or worse, make a sound that would wake him. I looked at his sleeping face, the man I'd loved for over a decade, the father of my child. I tried his own birthday, 1206. The screen unlocked. My stomach lurched. I stood carefully, taking the phone with me, and slipped into the bathroom. Locked the door. Sat on the closed toilet lid with shaking hands. Where would he hide it? Messages seemed too obvious. I opened them anyway. Nothing. Just conversations with me, with his brother Mike, with some work contacts. All innocent. But there was something off. The dates. His conversation with Mike showed texts from this morning, then jumped back to 3 weeks ago. Gaps. Suspicious gaps. I went to settings, scrolled to messages, and there it was. Filtered messages. Unknown senders, it said. Probably spam. I clicked it. The first name I saw made my blood run cold. Vanessa Mitchell. Months of messages, hundreds of them. I scrolled, my vision blurring, trying to comprehend what I was reading. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Last night was incredible. I hate lying to him, but I can't stop thinking about you. Sophie asked why you're always at dance class now. I told her you're just a friendly dad. The emoji made me want to vomit. I kept scrolling, back and back. The first message was dated July 19th. 7 months. They'd been doing this for 7 months. My hands trembled as I started taking screenshots. One after another after another. I needed evidence. Because this wasn't just suspicion anymore. This was war. I spent the next 3 days in a fog. Derek noticed nothing. He kissed me goodbye each morning, asked about my day each evening, played with Madison before bedtime. The perfect husband, the perfect father, the perfect liar. I'd airdropped all the screenshots to my own phone that first night, then carefully returned his phone to the nightstand. Since then, I'd been reading through them obsessively. Every message, every detail. The affair had started at a dance class parent meeting in July. Innocent flirting, according to the early texts. Coffee afterward, then lunch, then a hotel room. They'd been careful. Mostly met during his supposed gym sessions, sometimes during her grocery shopping trips. Once, horrifyingly, they'd met at a Starbucks 3 blocks from our house while I was home making dinner. But the worst part, the absolute worst part, Vanessa was married. Her husband's name was Nathan. I found him easily on social media. Vanessa's profile was public, full of happy family photos. Nathan Mitchell, 41, works in finance. Devoted father to Sophie. He had no idea, just like I'd had no idea. We were both being destroyed by people we trusted. I sat in my car outside Madison's school pickup, staring at Nathan's Facebook profile. In his most recent photo, he was pushing Sophie on a swing, both of them laughing. Posted 3 days ago, while his wife was screwing my husband. My hands shook as I opened my banking app. We had joint accounts. Always had. I'd never thought to check them closely. Now I did. I scrolled through months of transactions. Most were normal. Groceries, gas, utilities. But then I saw them. Small charges Derek had made separately. Dinner at restaurants we'd never been to together. A hotel in the city, 347. Flowers from a boutique I'd never received flowers from. Another hotel. Another dinner. Victoria's Secret. 156. He'd bought her lingerie. With our money. I did the math. Over 7 months, Derek had spent roughly $4,000 on his affair. $4,000 from our daughter's college fund. From our savings. From my salary too, since we pooled everything. Something cold and hard settled in my chest. I screenshot every transaction. Then I called the number I'd been staring at for 2 days. It rang 3 times. Hello? Nathan Mitchell. My voice was steady. Calm. My name is Amber Hayes. I think we need to talk about our spouses. There was a long silence. Then, oh God, you know. Yes, I said. And now so do you. We met at a coffee shop 30 minutes outside town. Neutral territory where neither Derek nor Vanessa would accidentally see us. Nathan was already there when I arrived. Sitting in the back corner booth. He looked exactly like his photos. Clean-cut, professional, exhausted. The exhaustion was new. I recognized it because I saw it in my own mirror every morning. Amber, he stood when I approached. Nathan. We shook hands awkwardly, then sat. For a moment, neither of us spoke. I didn't want to believe you, he finally said. When you called, I thought, maybe it was a mistake, some misunderstanding. Did you check? His jaw tightened. I found her laptop. She'd left her email open. I saw everything. How long have you known? 2 days. You? 4. He laughed bitterly. And neither of us have said anything to them. Have you? No. He looked down at his coffee. I keep thinking I should. I'll walk into the living room, see her playing with Sophie, and think, this is it. I'm going to confront her. But then I don't. Because once I say it out loud, it becomes real, and everything falls apart. I understood that completely. They've been careful, I said quietly. Meeting during the day, using dance class as cover, deleting messages, though Derek wasn't smart enough to delete them completely. Vanessa told me she joined a book club. Nathan's voice was hollow. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, she'd come home with wine on her breath, talking about whatever novel they'd supposedly discussed. I thought it was good for her, getting out of the house, making friends. Derek told me he was going to the gym. Jesus. We sat in silence again. Around us, people ordered lattes and worked on laptops, living their normal, non-destroyed lives. Our anniversary is next week, Nathan said suddenly. 11 years. Vanessa already made reservations at some Italian place downtown. She's been excited about it. Ours is in 3 weeks, I said. 9 years. Derek asked me last week what I wanted to do. Suggested we get a babysitter. Make it special. Nathan looked up, and something sharp flickered in his eyes. What if we made it special? What do you mean? He leaned forward. What if we didn't confront them separately? What if we coordinated this? My heart started beating faster. Keep talking. The restaurant Vanessa picked, it's nice, public, lots of people. He paused. What if we all ended up there? Same night? Same table? I felt a slow smile spread across my face. I think, I said carefully, we need a plan. The restaurant was perfect, exactly as Nathan described. White tablecloths, soft lighting, a pianist playing in the corner, the kind of place where people celebrated anniversaries and proposals, where raising your voice would be social suicide, where public humiliation would be devastating. I'd spent 2 weeks preparing, called a divorce attorney, got my ducks in a row, moved half our savings to a separate account, legally mine to protect, collected every piece of evidence, made copies, stored them in 3 different locations. And I'd told Derek I wanted to celebrate our anniversary here, at Bellissimo, on March 21st, the same night as Nathan and Vanessa's reservation. Derek was thrilled. That's perfect, babe. I'll get us a great table. He had no idea I'd already coordinated everything with Nathan. Now I sat across from Derek, wearing the black dress he loved, watching him smile at me over candlelight. His hand reached across the table to hold mine. 9 years, he said. Can you believe it? No, I said honestly. I really can't. The waiter brought champagne. Derek made a toast about love and partnership and growing old together. I clinked my glass against his and drank, tasting nothing. Then I saw them. Nathan and Vanessa walked in, arm in arm. She wore red, bold, confident, beautiful. Nathan's face was composed, but I caught his eye across the restaurant. He gave me the smallest nod. Showtime. Oh, wow, I said casually. Isn't that one of the dance moms? Vanessa? Derek's head whipped around. His face went white. And her husband. I continued, standing. Nathan, right? They're so nice. We should invite them to join us. It's their anniversary, too. What a coincidence. Amber, wait. But I was already walking toward them, smiling brightly. Vanessa. Nathan. What a surprise. Vanessa froze. Her eyes darted to Derek, then back to me. Amber. Hi. We didn't know you'd be. It's our anniversary, I said warmly. And Nathan mentioned it's yours, too. 11 years, right? Please join us. We have plenty of room. Oh, we couldn't, Vanessa started. I insist. My smile never wavered. Derek, tell them. Derek had gone completely pale. He stood slowly, mechanically. Sure. Join us. The hostess, confused but accommodating, brought extra chairs. Within minutes, all 4 of us were seated together. Derek and Vanessa on one side, Nathan and I on the other. 2 betrayed spouses, 2 cheaters, 1 table. Nathan raised his champagne glass, his voice steady and cold. To marriage, he said, and the lies that destroy it. Vanessa's hand trembled. Derek's eyes met mine. And finally he understood. I knew everything. Amber, we should talk about this privately, Derek started. Why? I cut him off, my voice light and pleasant. We're all friends here, aren't we, Vanessa? Vanessa looked like she might be sick. Her face had gone from red to ashen. Nathan, please. Please what? Nathan's voice was ice. Please don't ruin our anniversary dinner. Please keep pretending I don't know you've been fucking him for 7 months. The couple at the next table glanced over. Derek sank lower in his chair. 7 months, I repeated, pulling out my phone. That's how long you 2 have been careful, or thought you were being careful. I turned my screen toward them. Screenshots. Dozens of them. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Last night was incredible. Derek's message to Vanessa, time-stamped 2:47 a.m., the night he'd told me he was working late. Amber, let me explain. Derek reached for my hand. I jerked away. Explain what? How you spent $4,000 of our money on hotels and dinners and lingerie. Oh yes, Derek. I checked our bank statements. Victoria's Secret, February 9th, $156. I looked at Vanessa. Did you like what he bought you? She didn't answer. Tears streamed down her face. Or maybe you want to explain the gym, I continued. Because Planet Fitness is $24.99 a month, but you've been charging $67 to the Riverside Hotel every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 months. Nathan pulled out his own phone. Vanessa's book club was creative too. Except the Wine and Words book club she supposedly joined doesn't exist. I called them. Stop, Vanessa whispered. Please stop. Why? Nathan's voice cracked. You didn't stop. Either of you. You didn't stop when you were lying to our faces, when you were sleeping in our beds, when you were playing happy family with our children. More tables were watching now. The pianist had stopped playing. Do you love her? I asked Derek. My voice was steady, but my hands shook. Do you love her more than your wife? More than your daughter? Amber, Madison has everything to do with this. My voice rose. You brought your mistress to our daughter's dance recital. You paraded her in front of me. You made me shake her hand. Derek's face crumpled. I'm sorry. God, Amber. I'm so sorry. I'm sure you are. I stood, dropping my napkin on the table. I'm sure you're both very sorry. Sorry you got caught. I looked at Nathan. He stood too. Enjoy your anniversary dinner, I said. The divorce papers will be served Monday. We walked out together, leaving them sitting there, humiliated, exposed, destroyed. Amber, we should talk about this privately, Derek started. Why? I cut him off, my voice light and pleasant. We're all friends here, aren't we, Vanessa? Vanessa looked like she might be sick. Her face had gone from red to ashen. Nathan, please. Please what? Nathan's voice was ice. Please don't ruin our anniversary dinner. Please keep pretending I don't know you've been fucking him for 7 months. The couple at the next table glanced over. Derek sank lower in his chair. 7 months, I repeated, pulling out my phone. That's how long you two have been careful. Or thought you were being careful. I turned my screen toward them. Screenshots. Dozens of them. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Last night was incredible. Derek's message to Vanessa, timestamped 2:47 a.m. The night he'd told me he was working late. Amber, let me explain. Derek reached for my hand. I jerked away. Explain what? How you spent $4,000 of our money on hotels and dinners and lingerie? Oh yes, Derek. I checked our bank statements. Victoria's Secret, February 9th. $156. I looked at Vanessa. Did you like what he bought you? She didn't answer. Tears streamed down her face. Or maybe you want to explain the gym, I continued. Because Planet Fitness is $24.99 a month, but you've been charging $67 to the Riverside Hotel every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 months. Nathan pulled out his own phone. Vanessa's book club was creative too, except the Wine and Words book club she supposedly joined doesn't exist. I called them. Stop, Vanessa whispered. Please stop. Why? Nathan's voice cracked. You didn't stop, either of you. You didn't stop when you were lying to our faces, when you were sleeping in our beds, when you were playing happy family with our children. More tables were watching now. The pianist had stopped playing. Do you love her? I asked Derek. My voice was steady, but my hands shook. Do you love her more than your wife? More than your daughter? Amber, Madison has everything to do with this. My voice rose. You brought your mistress to our daughter's dance recital. You paraded her in front of me. You made me shake her hand. Derek's face crumpled. I'm sorry. God, Amber, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you are. I stood, dropping my napkin on the table. I'm sure you're both very sorry. Sorry you got caught. I looked at Nathan. He stood too. Enjoy your anniversary dinner, I said. The divorce papers will be served Monday. We walked out together, leaving them sitting there, humiliated, exposed, destroyed. Derek came home at midnight. I heard his key in the lock, heard him try to turn it. Nothing happened. I'd changed the locks that afternoon, called a locksmith while Madison was at school, had every lock in the house rekeyed. Derek's keys were useless now. He knocked, then pounded. Amber, open this door right now. I sat on the couch in the dark, my phone recording everything. My attorney had advised me to document all interactions. You can't lock me out of my own house. This is illegal. It wasn't. I'd already checked, but I let him believe it. After 20 minutes, he left. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. The next morning, a process server arrived at my door. Derek was suing for immediate custody modification, claiming I was engaging in parental alienation and creating an unstable environment for Madison. My hands shook reading the filing. He'd hired Richard Chen, the most aggressive divorce attorney in the county. Someone was bankrolling this, probably his parents. Then came the call from Madison's school. Mrs. Hayes, we need you to come in. There's been an incident. I found Madison in the principal's office, tears streaming down her face. She'd had a complete meltdown during recess, screaming at Sophie that her mother was a homewrecker, words she'd clearly heard somewhere. Madison, where did you hear that term? The principal asked gently. My daughter looked at me, guilty and confused. From Daddy. He said you called Miss Vanessa that. He said you're trying to make me hate him. My blood ran cold. He said that to you? She nodded. Yesterday, when you weren't there. He said you're lying about him, and that grown-ups sometimes do bad things when they're angry. Derek was already manipulating her, rewriting the narrative, making himself the victim. That night, Vanessa called. "Stay away from my daughter," she hissed. "Sophie came home crying because Madison attacked her. Madison's 8 years old and traumatized because you and Derek destroyed 2 families. I'm getting a restraining order against you and Nathan. You two are clearly unstable." "Excuse me. Everyone knows you're sleeping together, planning this whole revenge scheme. It's pathetic, Amber. Derek made a mistake, but you're the one acting psychotic." She hung up. I stood there, phone in hand, shaking with rage and something worse. Doubt. Was I acting psychotic? Had I taken this too far? Madison was suffering. Sophie was suffering. And Derek was using all of it against me. My phone buzzed. "Nathan. Vanessa just served me with a restraining order. Says I'm harassing her. This is getting ugly." I looked around my empty house, at the divorce papers on my kitchen table, at Madison's backpack by the door. I'd won the battle at the restaurant, but the war was just beginning, and I wasn't sure I was strong enough to survive it. The custody hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks later. 3 weeks of hell. Derek exercised every visitation right aggressively, picked Madison up exactly on time, returned her exactly on time, documented everything. His attorney was building a case that he was the stable parent, while I was the vindictive one. Madison started having nightmares, wetting the bed again, something she hadn't done since she was 5. Her teacher called twice about behavioral issues. "I don't want to choose," she sobbed one night. "Why do I have to choose between you and Daddy?" "You don't, baby. You don't have to choose." But that was a lie. The court was going to make her choose. Or worse, a judge who didn't know her, didn't know us, would choose for her. Nathan and I stopped meeting in public. Vanessa's restraining order claim hadn't gone through. There was no evidence of harassment, but we couldn't risk appearances. Everything we did would be used against us. "I'm losing Sophie," Nathan told me over the phone one night. His voice was broken. "Vanessa's poisoning her against me, telling her I abandoned them, that I chose anger over family. Derek's doing the same thing." "Was it worth it?" he asked quietly. "The restaurant, the public humiliation, all of it." I didn't answer right away, because honestly, I didn't know anymore. The hearing finally came. I sat across from Derek in the courthouse, watching him in his expensive suit, bought with money from his parents, no doubt. Richard Chen whispered in his ear. Derek nodded, looking somber and responsible. My attorney, Patricia, squeezed my hand. "Remember, stay calm. Don't let him bait you." The judge reviewed our filings, looked at the evidence of Derek's affair, the bank statements, the messages. Then he looked at the school reports about Madison, the incident with Sophie, the behavioral changes. "Mrs. Hayes," the judge said, "I understand you've been wronged. Your husband's infidelity is documented and unfortunate. However, this court's primary concern is the child's well-being." My stomach dropped. The question isn't who was the better spouse. It's who can provide the most stable environment for Madison moving forward. Derek's attorney stood. "Your Honor, my client has secured stable employment, maintained consistent visitation, and has never spoken negatively about Mrs. Hayes in front of the child, unlike Mrs. Hayes, who has made disparaging comments about my client's relationship, leading to the incident at school." "That's not—" I started. Patricia grabbed my arm. "Let me handle this." The next 2 hours were brutal. They painted me as unstable, vengeful. They brought up the restaurant scene, how I'd orchestrated public humiliation. They questioned my judgment. They made me sound crazy. When it was over, the judge didn't rule immediately. "I'll issue my decision within 2 weeks. Until then, the current custody arrangement stands." 2 weeks of not knowing if I'd lose my daughter. I walked out of that courthouse broken. Nathan was waiting outside. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he came anyway. "How bad?" he asked. "Bad." We sat on a bench outside the courthouse. 2 people who'd tried to get justice and might lose everything because of it. "I heard from my attorney," Nathan said quietly. "Vanessa's willing to settle. 60-40 custody split in her favor if I drop the asset claims. Are you going to take it?" "I don't know. Are you?" Derek had made a similar offer through his attorney. He'd agreed to my keeping the house and reasonable child support if I agreed to 50-50 custody. 50-50 meant Madison would spend half her life with the man who'd betrayed us. But if I fought and lost, I might get even less. "I don't know," I whispered. We sat there in silence. 2 warriors who'd fought so hard for vindication, now facing the reality that sometimes winning means everyone loses. My phone buzzed. "Patricia." "Judge ruled early. Call me." My hands shook as I dialed. "Amber, you're not going to believe this. The judge ruled in your favor, Patricia said. Primary custody stays with you. 70-30 split. I couldn't breathe. What? He reviewed everything. The affair, the financial evidence, the manipulation attempts. He saw right through Derek's attorney's tactics. You won, Amber. I sat down hard on the courthouse steps. Nathan grabbed my arm to steady me. There's more, Patricia continued. Derek had a incident in the courtroom after I left. What kind of incident? He confronted the judge's clerk in the hallway, started yelling about bias, about how the system favors women. Security got involved. It's all on camera. My heart pounded. Is he okay? He's fine. But Amber, he violated court decorum. The judge added a supplementary order. Derek's visitation is now supervised for 6 months. He has to complete anger management before unsupervised visits resume. Derek had destroyed himself. All his money, his expensive attorney, his manipulations. None of it mattered. His own rage had been his undoing. 2 days later, I heard through mutual friends that Vanessa had left him. The stress of both divorces, the financial burden, the social isolation. Their affair couldn't survive reality. She'd moved back to her parents' house in another state with Sophie. Derek was alone. He'd lost his wife, his daughter, his mistress, his money, and his dignity. Everything. I picked Madison up from school that afternoon. She climbed into the car, quieter than usual. Daddy called me, she said softly. He was crying. My chest tightened. What did he say? That he's sorry? That he made really bad choices? That he loves me? She looked at me with those big, serious eyes. Do you think people can change, Mom? I thought about that carefully. I think people can try, but trust takes a long time to rebuild. Do you still love Daddy? I'll always care about him because he's your father. But no, sweetie. I don't love him anymore. She nodded, processing. Do you think you'll love someone else someday? I thought about Nathan, about coffee tomorrow, about the possibility of something new built on honesty instead of lies. Maybe, I said. Someday. That night, after Madison was asleep, I stood in my kitchen, my house, my space, and realized something profound. I'd set out for revenge, for justice, to make Derek pay, and he had paid, dearly. But somewhere along the way, I'd found something more important. I'd found myself again, strong, independent, whole. Derek hadn't just lost everything. I'd won everything that mattered, and that was the sweetest victory of all. Thank you for watching until the end. Your support is very important. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.